right, welcome everybody to round two. We've got Reason at the bottom of your screen. We've got the Overmaster up at the top. Both of these players won their first round. So one of the cool things, I know it's shorter with only the 3 round of Swiss, but one of the cool things about the 3 round Swiss into top 8 is that you get winning in so early, that this is a winning in for both these players. Whoever wins this match is in the top 8, which is pretty sweet. Whoever loses is still alive, but whoever wins this is locked in their slot for the top 8, only a couple wins away from a world championship invite. So it looks like they're going to take a mulligan. Both players are going to keep at 7, though. So Reason keeping 4 power, a Davia, a Wisdom of the Elders, Short Hopper, and Vicious Overgrowth. Pretty sweet. On the other side of things, the Overmaster keeping a 2 power hand, no fire influence notably. It is a Menace discard deck. No fire, just looking felon at the moment.
Yeah, both hands are somewhat lacking. Overmaster on 2 power, no fire, and Reason on mono depleted power.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to draw a card every turn, so why would you start down a card? Just draw your power that you need. It'll be fine.
Good strategy. That's how Lights Out Ace won the world championship right there. Don't start down a card.
Never mulligan.
Bottled Insight, also a sweet one. This one I know has got some people excited when we thought was spoiled, but pretty innocuous here. You got just a 1 power fastball draw card, but those words, when those 3 words are printed on a card, people get excited. It's a sweet one.
And it'll help Reason maybe smooth out their draw here. Like drawing a Sigil would be perfect because then you just got smooth undepleted forever. Even a Justice Sigil is good enough.
Even a Justice Sigil, there you go. We'll take it. So if anyone missed what happened there, the Overmaster did play out a Whispering Wind on turn 2, attacked, discarded the Prowling Amarak here, which hit a Krull, which was able to reanimate that back onto the board. That's how the Overmaster was able to get that Amarak out without any fire. Oh my gosh, look at that top deck. A Krull off the top after Reason uses a Vicious Overgrowth to take out that Whispering Wind. The Overmaster just top decks a Krull and puts it right back into play.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Short Hopper can, stun something and, trade with the Amarok since it chose Aegis and not Quick Draw. So Reason isn't out of it yet, but they really need to find, a Cover of Darkness or multiple cheap interaction spells here. Short Hopper's so sweet. I'd be very surprised if this doesn't get Icy Gaze.
Yeah, that is a very sweet one. I love the interaction with Icy Gaze. There you go, Icy Gaze. If it's discarded, play it from your void. Just such synergy there. I remember at the TNE the other day, the first time we saw that played, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then it discarded. I was like, oh, that's amazing. It's so cool.
Some of these versions also have Align the Tesseract in their market instead of Decimation in this list, so you can Davia Tessa into play. And
yeah.
You have a bunch of burn in your deck. You have Overgrowth and Cover the Storm and stuff. And a lot of decks can't kill a 12/12 multi-faction unit.
It is. I remember when at the last Open we were talking about that. Is that it's just Tessa's just hard to kill. It's just how the cards are printed just don't line up for killing an active Tesseract. It is pretty fun. One of the things I love about this game is just how you're able to just every tournament just be surprised. Even in metagames when things are, slow or stalled or anything, just being able to see there's, Roshi will bring a deck list or you'll see some interaction you didn't see before with, Icy Gaze. And it's like, man, it's so cool. I get so excited about all these cool interactions that people come up with.
All right, Crafty is a good draw here from Reason. It puts a body into play to slow this down, draws towards that Cover the Storm that they really need. It hurts, but I think you have to discard Davia to get the 1/1 here. You just need some bodies on the ground. The other thing you can do is just discard a 2 power or discard a Wisdom and a power. I don't think you're gonna have time to cast this Wisdom. Okay, pitches the Davia for the unit.
Yeah, that channel's not really what you wanted to see here, but a channel and then a Torgov here. Can't cast the Wisdom this turn, so unfortunately not the most power efficient. Not really much Reason could do here. We should have a Hailstorm or something here. I guess that wouldn't even hit these 2 units, but yeah, got the Short Hopper. Defile's going to take out that Crafty. Notably, that Crafty Fire Primal before it got stolen, but maybe the first time you may have seen this new influence requirement for Crafty.
Yeah, so Short Hopper can trade with one of the Amaroks here, but is going to be able to attack with exactly 2 units as long as they want.
Yeah, and those are going to get big.
Probably drop an auto tread post combat. Kills the Aegis one instead of the bigger one. So really just on the pray to draw cover. And there it is.
Yeah, sorry, I said Hailstorm, but I meant Cover the Storm. But yeah, there you go. That is going to take those out. So good timing for Reason there. And yeah, heads up on blocking the Aegis one to make sure that you play to your outs. Gonna keep Reason alive.
I really like playing the rune out there because on like next turn you might be able to Torgov plus Wisdom or something.
Yeah.
Like, you're never gonna cast that 5-cost Char. Don't get greedy.
Absolutely. All right, going to the market for Theo. Looking at Blackout the Skies, Combust, a Rock, a Waxing Moon, and Wyatt's Junkyard.
I see a rack out of those options since you have 4th power. I'm going Waxing Moon. Okay.
Waxing Moon
Wants to grind a bit.
Your units have Deadly at the end of the enemy turn. Transform Waxing Moon into Waning Moon, which says at the start of your turn, draw a card and take a damage, and then transform it back and forth. So pretty nice little card there. Draw some extra cards. Good and grindy matchups for sure. And it's going to be tough probably for Reason to deal with that. Going to stick around for probably the rest of the game.
Awkwardly, Reason already drew the Justice Sigil from their deck, so they can't short hopper for Privilege here and play the Wisdom.
Yeah.
So they're probably just going to go for Torgov.
There you go. Torgov already at 9. 9 cards in the void, so next turn can power that up.
Fun thing about Torgov is that your opponent really helps you fill your void in Expedition. Like there's so many decks that are playing like Vines, and there's like no 4 for you.
So much your opponent's making you discard so much that players like Mail are even putting Ayer in their deck just to flip it without being able to cast it. That was amazing. It was one of the highlights of the season, was flipping a flying Ayer off the bottom of the deck to win combat.
Then he won the tournament with
it. It was so
won a tournament with an uncastable card in his deck.
All right, how about Cover of the Storm copy number 2 just to take out a Vinegrafter 1-for-1? But
put the 10th card in for Torgov.
It did. It put the 10th card in. So Torgov, big 7/8 there, gonna attack in, loot away that channel.
Looted into another Torgov. These are some beefy boys.
Good. The man can sell ice to a Yeti, and he can hit in for a lot of damage, draw some cards. The Reason was 1 turn away from being dead on board, and now it's looked like they've stabilized quite a bit.
I just love Torgov. It's just like, you're never sad to play it. Like, it's big, it can test the board, it draws cards, it puts cards in the void for your cards that have void synergies, like this channel in the void for this Davia. My favorite decks have played Torgov. Notably, Theo is dead to 1 hit from the Torgov here because of the Waxing Moon. It's going to deal 1 damage to him.
It does deal damage on them drawing the cards. You're right.
Oh, but a deadly auto tread. Oh, this is really sick.
Oh, deadly auto tread's so good. So deadly means it only needs 1 damage. So for 1 power, the Overmaster can throw cards and kill all these units. So both Torgovs are going down right here. Oof.
I don't know why I didn't think of that as soon as Overmaster had marketed for the Waxing Moon. That is such a ridiculous combo.
That is such synergy there.
Valise means they're going to be Deadly Overwhelm. I guess not for 2 more turns, but Deadly Overwhelm also is a combo.
Yeah, the Obstructive Flicker is not going to do it here. That can take out the Houndmaster, but that's not going to stop what else is going on here.
So they won't be deadly this next attack. So playing Short Hopper does keep you alive. Mm-hmm. In conjunction with the Flicker. I think 10 damage coming in. Oh no, but then there's also the Hound. So yeah, Reason is just dead here. Doesn't have an Icy Gaze. Yeah, and digging for an answer that I don't think exists.
No, don't think so. So here comes that Short Hopper, but also now not have power for the Flicker. Gonna put Decimation in the void.
Yeah, so I mean, Reason will win next turn.
I guess Reason. Yeah, Reason now with that Decimate down has the win next turn, but Theo's gonna end the game this turn. Playing a power out, attacking in. And then even the combat's just going to go ahead and kill Reason, but even without it, Auto Tread could finish off the rest, but this should be enough for Theo. Reason is tapped out, does not have any power left. Gonna do it. So the Overmaster gonna take game one. Pretty close one though. The Overmaster had that early blitz. Seemed like they took the first couple games there, and then Reason stabilized. And I thought Reason might be able to do it there and make that comeback, but that deadly auto tread. So going to the market for that Waxy Moon kind of changed the game.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying right before I realized what was happening is that like Overmaster was dead and one Torgov hit, and there were two Torgovs out, but. Auto tread, go burr.
Exactly. So congrats to the Overmaster. Wins his next game, and they're in the top 8. So you got to like that feeling. How does that talk us through that? You've been in that situation before. You know, you always try to just stay focused on the game at hand. Do you feel those nerves, or do you feel that excitement when you're in, Theo's spot and you're like, all right, if I just win this one game, then I'm in the top 8? Does that cross through your mind at all when you're playing?
Oh yeah, I mean, you try to stay calm in one game at a time, like it's just another game. But in reality, when you're ahead in the game that matters, you get a little shaky and your hands start sweating. You're like, wow, I'm gonna win this game and I'm gonna make it to the top 8. You definitely think about it.
All right, Reason looking at a hand of 2 power, a blueprint, 2 copies of wisdom, a Torgov, and obstructive flicker. Seems like a pretty decent hand. And Theo's going to keep 3 power, an auto tread, a permafrost, a valise, and a whispering wind. Also a pretty decent hand.
Both these hands look better than their game 1 hands. Yep. So obviously Theo's panned out and like he ended up having a really good start, but Reason's going to put up more on-plan defense this game than last.
I was just gonna say that
turn 2 together with an awkward hand.
That turn 2 Whispering Wind was gonna be real tough for Reason because that can get out of hand quickly. But Reason with that timely flash fry, gonna throw Whispering Wind in the pan, take care of it before the Overmaster can go nuts. And now Reason, that was exactly what Reason needed, because now the Overmaster didn't play anything on turn 3, and now Reason can whisper or can wisdom end of turn 3. So nice little exchange there for Reason's side.
Yeah, and Overmaster played nothing on 3, nothing on 4, and Reason drew another 3-drop, so they don't have to just wisdom this turn. They get to deploy to the board and get ahead. This is looking really good for Reason.
Play out that banner. Kind of had an interesting choice there. You could actually, it's going to go with the wisdom. Lots of choices that turn. You could blueprints for a sigil and then play a 3-drop. You could get your depleted power out and play a 3-drop. Or you could, play it out and get a wisdom. So interesting options there. Reason just going to go for the card advantage here. Draw 2 cards.
Yeah, so Reason's thought is like they wanted all the cards in their hand because they're all good. They didn't know what they wanted to discard. They don't think they need to get ahead on board because they win the late game anyways. So they thought, well, I have the option since I'm not under any pressure to just wisdom and decide later.
Makes sense. And yeah, this actually Torgov again. Look how well Torgov matches up against Valise here. Now you can use the second unit to get it over, but it's great. This nice 4/4. I see your 4/4 and raise you a 4/5.
And Torgov is still a ways from becoming a 7/8 and is going to get perma besides, but still a good card. And it's not like the Valise is getting to loot here. Like Overmaster doesn't have a second attacker.
Gonna eat a permafrost, but that's gonna take that out of the Overmaster's hand. So gonna force the Overmaster to answer here. That's what Reason wants to do, right? Just like get cards out of the Overmaster's hand. Say if you want a 1-for-1 my Torgov with a removal spell, that's totally fine with me. Like, all right, Crafty gonna discard Auto Tread and a power, and is gonna draw a Seek Power and a Prowling Emmerich here. Gonna get that 1/1 value for their trouble.
Reason just has all the answers here. It's somewhat awkward to perma Valise because the attack with 2 units buff is still available, but Reason can just keep Overmaster at 1 unit for quite a while here with the cards in hand.
And then if you ever run out of gas, you got 2 copies of Bottled Insight. We've got some heirlooms, so lots of options for Reason here. And now the tough part is you have so many things to do and you can play so many cards. How do you sequence them and make the right choices to not stumble on what you're trying to do here? All right, what is this? The Sky Crab is transform it into a cost 3 more and give it double damage. Nice. Good one.
So an interesting thing here is that if you double hit this Torgov, the only 10-drop in Expedition is Goldplate Goliath, which has endurance.
Nice.
I don't know if it's going to get to the point where Reason can afford to spend 14 power, but
probably
if
not,
it ever does,
that's sweet.
that's a 12 12 strength of Overwhelm.
Did you? I don't know if you watched any of the last T&E, but we did someone activated this and flipped into a big Icaria and attacked for the win. It's like, all right, sure.
Oh yeah, well, that's right.
That was great.
We're not an expedition challenge,
Yeah.
so that's not guaranteed actually.
Yeah.
So don't do that. It's too risky. They're 10 ups that don't have endurance. In actual expedition, like you're playing on ladder, or like in an expedition open, something to keep in mind is that your Davia can only, or your 7-drop if you hit a Torga with it, can only go into Goldplate Goliath.
That is good to know. I don't think that's fixed, so I'm pretty sure that that'd be too risky to do here.
And super slow anyways. Like I don't expect it to actually happen, but
the Overmaster down to just the Houndmaster in hand. So Houndmaster and a Fire Sigil.
If you're gonna have only a couple cards at hand, Houndmaster is a good one to have because it's better when you have no hand.
True. Overmaster's not playing.
It's not like Overmaster has any attacks here, so Reason can just kind of sit here and draw cards at their leisure.
Theo is not playing the invasive species. Oh no, we won't see what we saw last time with that one. No invasive species in the market.
So Reason isn't really making any progress towards ending the game, really, but they don't have to. Like eventually they'll draw a Davia, and when you have 8 power in a Davia, you can just stun everything forever and just like bash them for 6 every turn.
Lots of choices here. Waddled Insight. So it's 1 to draw a card and then amplify 2. So it's always on the odd, right? So it's 1, 3, 5, 7.
Yeah, and then you can draw 2, discard 1, draw 3, discard 2. Basically, it's an inefficient crafty occultist, so you might as well just play the occultist. Yep. Joofy, that's a way to end the game.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw some Joofy
last time. It's big in a hurry in a deck like this.
It does.
Question was, do you want to play it now or whether you want to wait a turn and get the Dragon Eyes? And I think you can afford to wait a turn. Like, you're not under any pressure here.
Yeah, I agree. You're 21 and you're not really pressure on the board. I think you can wait.
So, like, the Houndmaster coming down can make it somewhat awkward because, again, if you're permafrosting Houndmaster, they can still make 4/4s. But Reason doesn't know about that, so I think Reason is almost certainly going to wait on Joofy. And once you start hitting those Dragon Eyes, like, you're really... they like chain off and you just get like 9, 11 Joofies or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first one is guaranteed to find the second one, so you're good there.
Right, permafrost the Grenadin, so the Amarok can't get buffed and the Valise can't loot.
That's not something you see every day. Permafrost on a Grenadin.
Yeah, that is aggressively denying the pair attack.
Elding the draw for Theo, and that's going to be that hidden unit. So I assume an open deck, let's say playing units out for stealth, it doesn't really change anything. It's not even a choice. In Eternal, it's just automatic. But Reason just looks down at the deck list sheet and says, "Oh, an Elding."
Elding is actually a big problem here because when that dies, Wrestler is going to get to sack this Grenadin to get a 4/4.
Yeah.
So Reason went from like being under no pressure and having all the time in the world to draw cards to kind of needing to do something here. So this Joofy needs to do some work.
Okay, well,
we actually need to hit a Dragon's Eye in the next few turns. That she can grow big enough to block the 4/4s, that is.
Yep. That Joofy, as you mentioned, is going to hit with the Intrigue. So transform 4 power cards in your deck into Dragon Eyes. All right, now we're getting the trigger from the Houndmaster as well. So let's get a free 4/4.
Oh, the Elding isn't even gonna die if you block it with a single. You have to double block it and take the Amarok hit. Wow, this is actually horrible. Oh no, don't block like that.
Oh no.
It's Overwhelm. It's still happening. Oh no. The Elding lives and the trigger still happens.
Oof. Oh, trigger still happens and the Elding lives. Oh no. Alright, getting a Flying Pale Rider. I guess that's not the worst, but Reason is at 11. But probably the worst part is that the Elding is still alive.
I don't know if even Davia saves you now. What can you even draw if you're Reason?
Maybe that actually was the perfect hit for the Overmaster because that can just fly over and deal some damage. Whisper Wind to follow up. And the Overmaster has a Permafrost in hand as well.
Yeah, you get to perma the Juffy so it can't even block. So that's just it. It's just over, right?
I think so. Kroll's gonna hit. Let's see what Theo can play from that
Just
Kroll.
passes.
Yeah, just passes back and gonna reanimate the auto tread, permafrost that Juffy.
Wow. Elding turned that around in a hurry.
Sure did. Elding was a great draw for the Overmaster. Well played, Theo. So the Overmaster is going to get into our top 8, winning out, starting out 2